A reason to believe. Believing is a universal human dimension and is at the core of almost any religious tradition. At the same time, more and more people, especially in the West, no longer feel connected to the way of believing, as is preached within some of these traditions. In this video series, we will explore how the meaning of the concepts faith and believing has evolved over time, and if these changes have contributed to the secularization as mentioned above. But before we go any further, I would like to invite you to express your belief in the value of these kinds of questions with a firm right from the outset. Thanks. Believing is a central concept within most religious traditions. People who believe are referred to as believers, but to be called a believer is a relatively new category. Until the dawn of the Enlightenment and the rise of atheism in the 18th century, it was self-evident that everyone believed in God. As a 13th century theologian, Thomas Aquinas stated, "Even the devil believes in God." In those days, believing in God had an epistemological and a spiritual status. Believing in God explained the most fundamental reason for existence, and at the same time, believing in God was a metaphysical concept. To believe that God exists also implies that one has a specific notion about the nature of God. The notion that God is all good, all-knowing, omnipotent, and omnipresent is at the root of most monotheistic religions. The noun faith and believe are synonyms, and both share connotations with fidelity and loyalty. The verb to believe, however, stems from the Middle English word believin, which meant to have faith or confidence in a person. But the verb to believe traces even further back from Proto-Germanic, where it was associated with to hold dear, valuable, or satisfactory, and to love. Believing is mostly contrasted with knowing, whereas believing is founded on faith and knowing on factual truths. So there is a fundamental difference in epistemological status between believing and knowing, and we tend to take believing as a weak form of knowing. One is free to believe in God without being obliged to back that belief up with rational arguments. But when you claim to know, you can be held accountable for giving reasonable arguments supporting that claim. A scientist who believes his medicine will work without any data to back it up violates the scientific method of acquiring knowledge. One can believe that there is cheese in the refrigerator or that it will rain based on a certain level of verifiable knowledge. In this type of belief, one can be proven wrong by emerging the factual truth as there is, or is not, any cheese in the refrigerator. To believe in God, on the other hand, is solely based on faith and cannot be updated or verified. You can come to faith or lose your faith. Knowledge can be acquired, expanded, and revised. You can know more or better, but it is absurd to say that you have improved your belief. Those who believe have weak indications or intuitions without any direct connection to an objective, verifiable truth. But does that imply that subjective truths are an inferior strand of truth, and that one's happiness depends on building one's life solely on scientific certainty? Is it even possible to achieve such an objective truth, let alone know how to define truth as objectively? Please let me know what you think in the comments, and do not forget to subscribe for updates and answers to these and other questions in this series. Thanks for watching.